Yob tube is ready. Make sure I have the right one in there. All right.
1 second, sorry. Just one more
You're
thing.
good.
Just want to get one more thing up. All right, I'm all good.
Okay.
Let's do
I'm
it.
sending lay push.
All right.
All right. Yeah, that one had it. Okay. Well, good afternoon from the 1011 Now streaming studio. I'm Danielle Shenk. Your evening commute likely going to be impacted by the weather this evening, and so because I'm not a meteorologist, I had to make sure I brought one. You know, I don't have duality like Bill does. So
Absolutely.
Carmelo Lattuca is joining me here to talk a little bit about what we're going to be seeing this evening.
We're going to see a messy commute. There's no doubt about that. The good news is that the precipitation that we expected today kind of held off just a little bit longer than we thought it was going to. So maybe the evening commute not impacted as much. I don't want to say it's not impacted at all, but I think when people are leaving the events that are in Lincoln tonight, such as the Stars game, we have the volleyball game, we have a basketball game, so there's just going to be a lot of foot traffic, and it's going to be icy on those surfaces. You know, just a little bit of drizzle can make you, slip pretty easily. So take caution when walking. You know, we normally don't say that, but take caution when walking. Give yourself extra time when driving as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, even some people who were leaving, like Katie, one of our producers, she said, it's already getting slick out there. We actually have a reporter on scene of 23rd and Cornhusker. There was a crash there. So, things are starting to pick up weather-wise and impact the commute a little bit. So this is the first winter weather advisory of the season. What are we kind of expecting as the evening carries on?
Well, we're expecting about a glaze to up to 0.2 of an inch, maybe even a little bit more than that as we get into the late evening and overnight hours. We're looking at satellite and radar right now. In southeastern Nebraska, we're already seeing some radar returns. So we're seeing green, we're seeing pink, we're seeing purple. The purple indicates that freezing drizzle, freezing rain, and we're already seeing that out there right now. The pink would indicate a wintry mix of precipitation, so that could be rain, that could be sleet, so that would be like ice pellets. It could also be some freezing drizzle as well, so a combination of those. And then obviously the green would just indicate some just general shower activity. But we're seeing that first batch move through right now. Kind of looks like it's ending, but that is not going to be the case. We're going to see more of that as we get into the next several hours and especially into the overnight period. We're going to fast forward here and take a look at the weather headlines. And we do have a winter weather advisory in effect. That's absolutely right. It is the first one of the season. We are expecting that advisory is going to continue until early tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. But I think the ice accumulation is the biggest factor that we're going to see out of this. We're going to see potentially up to 1/4 of an inch, and that's going to cause problems. It doesn't really sound like that much.
Yeah.
We talk about snow. We talk about, a couple inches here and there. It's going to cause problems, but it's not going to shut down anything,
It only takes a little bit of ice.
Only
to
a
make it
little bit of
dangerous.
ice.
And, even though we live in Nebraska, we think we've seen it all, but, you haven't. You got to be cautious.
Absolutely. And I hate that our first winter weather event in Lincoln has to be ice. I kind of wish it was snow, It wouldn't really be as bad. I think people would have a better feel for it. I think people think, I can't see any ice out there right now.
Yeah.
It's not there. Black ice, that's one of the worst winter weather hazards there are. So freezing drizzle, freezing rain, eventually switching over to rain, but that probably won't happen until around midnight. So we have about, 5, 6, 7 hours to go, and that might even extend into the overnight hours. Precipitation continues into Saturday, but fortunately by Sunday, we're returning to at or above 50, so it's going to be nicer by the end of this weekend.
Right, and so the temperature playing a big factor in all of this, right?
No,
I mean, just little
variations, absolutely. I was just looking at the Lincoln Airport, and they were reporting a temperature of 28 to 30 degrees, and if you're off by a couple of degrees in terms of like the forecast, it's going to change whether you see rain or that freezing drizzle. But since the temperatures are below freezing, it's going to freeze that rain when it hits down at the surface. It might be warmer aloft up into the atmosphere, but it is freezing at the surface right now. So that's why we're already seeing problems. You had mentioned there's already, some traffic problems right now, and that's only going to continue, I would imagine. But Ice accumulations, once again, I just want to reiterate, glaze to 0.2 of an inch. I know it seems like quite a range there. Why can't we just say it's going to be one or the other? It's just not going to be widespread, one widespread number across the area. All these areas in purple on the map, from Grand Island, Hastings into Norfolk, and then back down to Lincoln, they're all going to see a different amount because it's going to be raining at times harder in certain areas. So that's going to change the amounts there. But I just want to take the regional picture real quick. I was mentioning this during the 4 p.m. show.
All of Iowa.
It literally extends from
Iowa.
Kansas to all of Iowa into southern Minnesota. But that dark purple that you see just to the east of Des Moines, that's an ice storm warning. We don't even have that right now under our legend because it's such a rare event.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about winter storms, weather advisories, and blizzards. The ice storm warning, I'm very fortunate to say, not expected, or at least not happening right now in Lincoln. That would cause widespread power outages.
Right.
So as we take a little bit closer to home, play through the next few hours, this is probably a little bit more widespread than what might actually happen. But it's just to give people an idea. Worst case scenario, drizzle and freezing rain from Grand Island up towards O'Neill, back down to Fall City, Nebraska City. It's a pretty wide area, so it's going to be slick out there. This continues into around 11 p.m. By 11, though, the good news is Nebraska-Kansas border, we're seeing that switch over to rain. So the temperatures are actually going to warm up the later into the evening as we go. We're getting that warmer air to surge in, which is really good news. But it's still, we're seeing a lot of pink over Lincoln. That continues potentially into 1 a.m. The interesting thing, though, this could happen overnight tonight. It's not a guarantee, but the yellow, the red, the orange that you're seeing in the rain, especially right around Hebron and just to the south of York, that could be a few rumbles of thunder overnight tonight. So that's indicating some heavy precipitation.
Weather, huh?
It's crazy. And if our temperatures are off by just a couple degrees and we see thunder with freezing rain, that's going to lead to rapid ice accumulation. That's not going to be good. Most people, fortunately, are going to be at home, going to be sleeping.
Yeah.
When you wake up tomorrow morning, don't be surprised if it's a lot more slick out there compared to what we're seeing tonight. And you can see that dark red right over Lincoln tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We have to hope that our temperatures stay above freezing. But by, I think, right around noon to 2 p.m. tomorrow, we should be seeing an end to this activity. But I think people want to know, once again, how much can I see? And it's just... Again, that glaze to 1/10 of an inch, I think, is very likely, and the area is shaded in pink here. I mean, it's a pretty widespread area, but I really do think we're going to see some ice accumulation. I was looking at the National Weather Service. They said it's almost 100% guarantee we're going to see some form of ice. So people need to know it's going to happen. It's freezing out there right now.
Yeah.
Temperatures are below freezing. We're going to see that drizzle, and I can only imagine it's already slick out there right now.
Yeah. So things are going to look like a glazed donut, where
Yes.
you can kind of see it, but, maybe not the thickness too much.
No, not the thickness too much, but I'm sure if you looked real close, you could
You
see
can
it.
see
But
the glaze.
you're gonna slip on it though, so don't be like, I could just walk right over this. There's
Yeah.
no traction shoes that you're gonna be completely secure with,
Yeah.
And our tires, you're gonna slip on the roads too. So just don't pound on the brakes. Give yourself extra time. No need to speed tonight. There is nothing that is so much of a rush that you have to go to that you can't give yourself extra time. So just don't procrastinate. Just prepare a little bit. In terms of the ice potential, I think this is one of the lower ends of what we could see. This is about a couple hundredths, so maybe around 1/10. I do think we're going to see higher totals. And just to, go full circle here.
Yeah.
We could see close to 1 inch of rain on its own. So let's say these temperatures overnight go above freezing like we expect them to. We haven't seen any rain so far this month. It's just been a trace. We haven't seen any snow so far this season. Not only the
there
month,
we go.
but this season. So this would be the wettest December day so far. We have to see what happens the rest of the month, even though it looks dry overall. But 1/2 inch, maybe closer to 1 inch of rain. So be quite a lot of rain that we could see in, a short amount of time. And, 1/4 to 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch in southeastern Nebraska. So just want to reiterate, weather advisory till tomorrow morning. Make sure to give yourself extra time tonight, especially if you're going to some of these events. Heading to the event might not be so bad. I do think it's going to be worse when you're leaving them.
Right.
You might be in a parking garage, for example, and, you're covered, unless you're at the top level, but you're covered, and you think, I could just fly right out of here. The minute you get to the street, if it's not treated, it's going to be problematic. And I can't imagine that every surface is going to be treated right now. So just give yourself extra time.
Yeah. So eastern Nebraska, southeastern Nebraska, going to be seeing the worst of it.
Absolutely. I think the worst ice accumulation, if I had to pick one area, would probably be along and north of I-80 and then along and west of I-29. So between Lincoln, Columbus, and Omaha, especially up and down Highway 77, if they're not treating that right now, that could probably be very slick. So, I mean, you might just want to, if you don't have to travel tonight, I hate to say it, don't, maybe wait till tomorrow afternoon, but it's just going to be slick out there. And if you are, just be
to get home
cautious.
from work, you
Yeah.
know. I have our reporter's shot pulled up right here showing you right now. This is how bad the accident was at 23rd and Cornhusker. So just a testament to how slick things are right now out there. He's been showing pieces of the broken vehicles, things like that. Another vehicle has already been towed off. So, you know, we'll have more details about that in our evening shows and online. But back to the weather here, you know, we just have to make it through Saturday morning or
Yes.
so, and then we're in the clear.
I think by noon Saturday, it will be warm enough. Any ice that's on the ground, for the most part, should be melted. By then, I think we'll be treating the roads for a while, so things should be good. But it's gonna be cautious out there tonight. So I hate that it happens on a Friday night. You know, everyone wants to go, you know, get a jump start on the weekend. But
Yeah.
you know, got to deal with the weather. It's just, yeah, I think it's just reiterate, just be cautious out there tonight. Give yourself extra time.
Yeah, LTU crews, they're monitoring the streets right now. LPD's out there monitoring, especially around Devaney, Pinnacle Bank Arena, as the Huskers, both volleyball and basketball, are playing tonight. People are wanting to see those games, so they'll be out and about just throughout the evening, overnight hours, monitoring the streets. I know LTU crews are trying to get some salt out there, I think, as well. But they also have a few tips. You know, this is a good reminder, even though it kind of maybe caught some of us off guard a little bit, to make sure you have a winter kit in your car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Roadside kits that include the ice melt, small shovel, flashlight, blankets, hand warmers. And if it's safe to do so, stay with your stranded vehicle until it can be moved. If it's not safe, call Lincoln Police Department. Their non-emergency number is 402-441-6000, and wait to file any police reports if there's no urgency. And if you do have an emergency, dial 911 as officers will respond. So just a few tips from LTU there.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add?
No, I want to, you know, you can't stress it enough, you know, especially if it wasn't the first event of the season, you know, maybe not so concerning, but because it is, and we're now almost the middle of December, basically the middle of December, it's the 13th, haven't seen any snow yet. People might think, you know, I've been fine so far. It's because we really haven't seen anything so far. So just be cautious, extra preparation. Don't be afraid to go out to events tonight. Just give yourself that time.
Give yourself time and give yourself space, you know.
Absolutely.
As with the ice and stuff, you want to even extra space in case
the braking
you slide
distance,
a little bit, you know, you don't want any fender benders there. So, you know, test things out a little bit. Maybe as you're leaving your driveway, test the brakes, you know, do a little brake check.
Yeah, absolutely. You might see the speed limit. You might think, oh, the speed limit says 35. Don't drive 35 today.
Yeah.
You know? Go just a little bit slower than you normally would.
Or those corners might be a little slick too.
No doubt.
Alrighty. Well, for more news and weather updates, you can visit our website and follow us on all our social platforms. From our newsroom to wherever you are, we'll see you on the next stream.